What Everybody Wednesday is back! Today, Ryan and Jonny invent new words, discover new sports, and find new babies of rock and roll. Later, all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you know him as a host right here on the What Everybody podcast. Now, get to know him better as a guest. That's right, well, kinda, sorta, but you'll figure it out. So now, grab a pierogi, a razor, extra french fries, and welcome with no further ado, Ryan and Jonny. Oh, good.
And that being said, leave it for later. I wanted to tell you about my coffee.
Well, good morning, and welcome everybody back to the What Everybody podcast. I'm Jonny. Well, because I know you're about to go someplace, and I don't want to stop you. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll just say hello right now. Then I can sit back and just listen to you talk. Then I don't have to talk, and therefore I have an easier day. So hello, everybody. Welcome back to the What Everybody podcast. I'm Jonny. This is Ryan and Ryan. Go ahead, bud. I'm here. He's got coffee today. Coffee makes him hot. None. Go.
Well, all I was saying before we started this today, was that I've been watching my diet for the past 2 weeks because it's necessary.
And what does that consist of? What is that? Watching a diet in Ryan? Because if everybody notices, if you ever watch the YouTube channel, Ryan's in pretty damn good shape. So what he needs a diet for is beyond me. But let's hear about it. What does the diet for Ryan Harris consist of?
I wasn't feeling good, and I didn't have any good rational explanation why. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's something I'm eating. Maybe it's something I'm doing. So you've heard me over the past couple of weeks talk about how coffee's been bad for me, caffeine's been bad for me. Well, I started to get to thinking maybe it's something else in my diet.
When you tell me that coffee's bad for you, I feel as if that's a damn shame because for those, including you, if you don't know, I love the Java.
It's not even really a diet. What it is cut out all the bullshit. So I cut out, there's no sugar, no alcohol. There's no any of that.
But you don't eat alcohol.
You consume it. It's the same thing as drinking soda or something. It's like going into your body. Your body's like, I don't want this.
What are the foods you eat?
I can eat any meat. I can eat any fruit, vegetables, eggs, that kind of stuff. I drink water. It's fine. You can have caffeine. It's okay. So anyways, I'm doing this for a little while, and I got to thinking maybe I can try the regular coffee again because I've been starting to feel better. And I tried the regular coffee again for the first time this morning, and I'm coming in hot.
I love it. I almost insist that you have to have coffee when we work.
But isn't it going to level off at some point, though? Where you do it every day, you get used to it. The coffee eventually is going to be
but you do what I do and just have several cups in a day. Your diet, just to mention, I got to say, that's awesome. That I did pretty much. That is what I did when I did that diet last year. Now I'm still trying to get back on the wagon after that tour. I'm struggling still. It's getting better. It's getting better. I have officially cut fast food out again, which is great. I still, even through that. Here's something you mentioned soda, right? Just now.
Yep.
I remember you once telling me. Because I could never even fathom the thought of not having soda. And I remember you once telling me that you used to drink soda, and then one day you cut it out, and then it took you about 3 weeks, 6 weeks, and then you just lost the craving.
No, it took longer than that.
Right.
It was I cut it out, not to cut you off. I cut it out, and then maybe it got to a point, it was difficult at first, and then it got to a point maybe once a month I would crave a Pepsi or something. And then that completely went away.
Well, let me just say, I've fallen off the wagon of the diet as far as okay, I lost 35, 40 pounds or whatever it was that I lost. And I was like, it's okay for me to eat pretty much now whatever I want, except just that doesn't mean just fill myself with grease. However, through the falling off of the diet, I still to this day have not had a soda since last December.
Dude, long distance high five.
There you go. Even when I went to McDonald's, because I did fall for the nugs last week, I had a craving, man. I just could taste the fucking nugs. And I ordered a value meal with a bottled water.
Yeah. So you haven't had one soda in almost a year now?
Okay. Well, I'd have to say maybe a slight disclaimer. I drank a Jaeger bomb on tour, so there was a slight bit of Red Bull in that Jaeger bomb.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. But my question, the reason I said that was because now, if I if I would have a Coke or a Pepsi or whatever, any of those really now, like,
Oh, it'd be gross.
It's way too much, dude. Like,
So did I ever
and I
tell
was
you?
wondering, do you have this same thing for you? Like, if you had a
Well, yeah. Check this
Dr.
out.
Pepper
So
right now.
if I would freak out when I had the first. Okay, so when I first did my diet for the first 4 months, it was December to April. I had no sugar at all. To this day, since last summer, not only no soda, but I also have not added sugar to my coffee one time since last December.
Same.
So April rolls around last year, and Easter happens, and I'm a huge fan of the Cadbury eggs when Easter comes around. I love those things. So they had a special at the supermarket. Buy two, get one free. So I'm like,
Get
all right,
one
well,
free.
get one free. Exactly. How can you pass that up? So I buy that. Make a long story short, I never ate all three of them. I ate two of them a month apart. I ate them because when I ate that one, it was the first sweet thing I had. Dude, it was like I ate something sour. It was like so intense. Like I was like, oh my God, it is so sweet. I don't even know how to comprehend it.
If I eat chocolate, like straight up chocolate, like if I were to eat a Cadbury egg, first of all, those things are so drippy. Like I'm glad that you like them. Gross. Mm-hmm. But like if I were to eat one of those, like my teeth would hurt. Is that weird? Because of the sugar in it.
Well, you remember I told you the weirdest side effect of COVID was when I lost the taste, and I was in Scotland, and it was a Cadbury brand. No, it might have been German, but it was really sweet chocolate. And you know, like when you eat like something sour, your mouth will pucker and water up.
Yeah.
I
like,
ate
get
this
to here, like that. What's that A1 commercial? Get to here.
Yeah, exactly. I ate this piece of chocolate. I could not taste the chocolate, but my mouth still reacted like weird. I was eating. Like, so I could taste nothing, but my mouth started like making that puckered fucking face and all that shit. Weird, crazy. Yeah, no, it's totally nuts. I don't think I can handle a Coke right now. You know, I don't have a rant today, Ryan Harris. I want to, you know. I want to understand the human anatomy a little bit more, okay?
Should I take my pants off?
No, it's all right. But
good.
What I want to ask about has something to do with something that could be revealed under your pants, under my pants, or under any other man's pants. Don't
know where you're going here, but I'm following.
Well, okay, all right. I'm going to start with this. Let me start here. Wherever you grow hair, you have follicles where the hair comes out of. Hair follicles, right?
Yeah.
Now, where I just mentioned what's under your pants, what's under my pants, and what's under every pants in the man here, in the men in the world, the animals in the world, they have them too that are men. Yeah. We have these things called testicles, okay? Also known as balls.
Okay, Johnny.
All right. No. Follow me. Just follow.
I'm following you.
Follow this amazing story that I have for you. Okay. This is just classic.
Sit here and be quiet. Just sit here and keep it in until you're done.
You can ask questions along the way because they would probably be entertaining questions. So back to the issue at hand: hair follicles. Okay, we're talking hair follicles, and
You're talking ball follicles.
Well, I didn't get there yet. I was going to get there. Yeah, that's a good segue. I was talking hair follicles, and the human anatomy, testicles, also known as balls. Okay.
Can you do me a favor for this story? Can you call them ballicles?
Ballicles. Well, that's where I'm getting at.
Thanks.
Now,
appreciate that.
on our testes, aka balls, we have hair follicles.
And the point.
Now, well, hair follicles on the balls, if anybody's been up and close to a ball before, okay, they look like dots. It's weird. It's not like I mean, maybe that's how they look like on my head here, but I can't see the root, so I don't know. But on my nuts, I can see where the follicles lie. Okay, now that
anyone listening and not watching the YouTube, just understand that I have a face of shame expression.
There's no
right
reason.
now.
Well, there's no reason to have a face of shame because I'm going someplace with this. Okay, so
shaming.
Now that so everybody knows we are now going to refer to the hair follicles on my balls as ballicles, right? Is that what you wanted to call them? Ballicles. Okay.
Barnacles, ballicles, whatever.
Barnacles, ballicles. So I'm going to get a little personal with all you folks. Hope you all don't mind. A couple weeks back, my girl and I were having some fun, you know. She wears glasses sometimes.
PlayStation?
No, we were fooling around. We were, fooling around. So she had her glasses on, thought nothing of it. We're fooling around. Remember that. Fooling around. Use your imagination. The next day, she comes home. She gets home from work, and she's like, "You're not going to believe what happened." I'm like, "Well, no, what happened?" She's like, "Well, I get to work. I need my glasses for something. I put on my glasses, and there's all these little dots all over my glasses." And I go, "What exactly are the dots on your glasses?" She goes, "You idiot. They're the fucking hair follicles from your balls." So somehow I managed to get my Ballicle imprints on my girlfriend's glasses so that the next day when she needed her glasses at work, she went to go put them on, and boom, it looks like
I'm glad
polka
you
dots
led
coming
that
out of
with
her
you're
eye.
going to have to use your imagination. Follow-up question. She didn't have them on at the time of this action, I'm guessing because she didn't realize that they were dirty until the next day. If she was wearing the glasses, how did she not realize that said Ballicle stain marks were on there until the next day?
Well, the lights were off except for the television, okay? And then when we were done, she took her glasses off because we weren't watching the TV. So when she put them on, the next morning when she was at work, probably needed to do something on the computer at work. Boom, There she is. She's trying to read Reddit, which is one of her favorite pastimes, and she's got a polka dots coming out of her eyeballs.
Also, I'm not judging. This isn't me coming at
reason,
you like, what in the world? This is me just coming at you like, this is something that I've never heard anyone
if I was you,
say before.
I'd be asking different questions.
Did I say I was out of questions?
Oh, please continue.
No, but I want to hear what you'd be asking if you were.
I would be wondering, my first question would be like, well, how exactly did your balls land on your girlfriend's glasses?
Valid follow-up question. Johnny, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Way to set yourself up for the most anticlimactic answer in the history of since your last anticlimactic answer.
Listen, my balls must have rubbed across her glasses. As a matter of fact, I must have teabagged her glasses if there's, follicle marks all over. I want to tell you how that all came to be.
You want to tell me how what all came to be?
I want to tell you how it came to be, me telling you the Ballicle story.
Okay.
So, if you can recall, and I guess, hey, maybe I should have started with this because in a way, it's an effing rant. Because, check this out. Do you remember, I don't know, this must have been episode 2, 3, 4, somewhere back then. I was complaining to you about how at my household, there's certain members of my household who do not properly wash the dishes. Do you remember that?
I do. Well, certain members of your household also don't properly wash the glasses.
Right, exactly. My girl and I made pizza, and I don't eat cheese, so she made her own pizza, and I made my own pizza. She cut hers first. I ate mine hours later. She washes the pizza cutter, she puts it away, it's drying. I go to grab the pizza cutter when I make my pizza, and I look at it, I'm like, what the hell is all this muck on this nonsense, right?
Now, is it cheese?
First, I want to say I've just used the word muck in 2 different weeks. That's amazing.
Congrats.
I haven't used that word since I was 19. Cheers.
Caffeine cheers, buddy.
Woo.
Clink.
Well, we got to take a sip. We can't cheers and not sip.
There you go. Back to your story.
I don't know what it was. I'm guessing it was cheese because it was whitish. But here's the fucking weirdest thing, dude. It had only been a couple of hours since she used it. And I, for the life of me, couldn't get this muck off.
Yeah, now, dude, when cheese dries, it turns to like plastic.
Now,
it's
just imagine what happened. Imagine what it does to your stomachs when you people eat that nonsense.
Cut that one out too.
With that being said, I was like, isn't this funny? Because in all due respect, my girlfriend wasn't the roommate that I was referring to, that I was watching from afar. And I knew she was the
watching from afar, washing dishes?
Well, remember the original
Use
story
your
I told you? I told you in that original episode when I was talking about this that I was watching my roommate from afar.
The first time I called you Judge Judy. Right.
Exactly.
I remember now.
Right, exactly. It was probably in the Karen episode. With that being said, I hope I'm not offending anybody, but I didn't catch the person in the act, but I knew who did it because it was the only other person who used that pizza cutter, and it was my girlfriend. With that being said, I calmly scrubbed the shit out of that thing, cut my pizza, went into the other room, and I said, I just want to let you know ahead of time if you happen to listen to the podcast, I am for sure going to mention the pizza cutter being dirty because you know it's my pet peeve. She goes, well, if you want to talk about the ball follicle story, you can do that. And if anybody knows my girlfriend, you would never in a million years expect her to say that. But I said, don't say that unless you mean it. She goes, go ahead, do it. And that's how we ended up right here, right now. Bam, boom, look at that.
Both those bases are covered. Let's just get that out in the clear. Both those bases are covered.
What do you mean by that?
Both topics have been understood that they will be discussed.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Now, you said this to me yesterday. We were doing some research on stuff.
Okay.
You said actions have consequences.
Right? I said that? That sounds smart.
Right,
sounds wise.
Okay, so actions have consequences.
Smart.
With your actions has consequences statement, I want to say that her actions have created consequences in which I now get to talk about it.
Which is an action that may have a consequence, my friend.
There you have it.
Bam!
All right, let me tell you how this came out. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead. All right. I sent Ryan this video. I'll let Ryan.
Jonny sent me a video.
I'll let him. Wait, hold on. I'll let him tell you what the video was. But I just want to say that I was on the phone with Martin Nielsen, our Swedish brother from another mother, who was a guest on episode 12, maybe, I don't know, somewhere back then.
Sure.
And anyway, I'm talking to him, and he had just gotten done working a music festival somewhere in Sweden, and he was describing, it was in an arena. I go, oh, that was a big place. He goes, they play this game bandy there. I go, what the heck is bandy? And this is where I'm going to let Ryan Harris take over. Tell him about the video I sent you of bandy.
Okay. So Jonny sends me a video of a Swedish sport. And before I watched the video, he goes, it's like golf, but they swing like a hockey stick, like a golf ball. And it's like
that's not
hockey, but there's a ball. No, this is exactly verbatim how you brought it to me. And then, so I'm like, so like lacrosse? He goes, but it's a ball on the ground. But it's not the ground, it's ice. Here, I'm going to send you a video. And he sends me a video. I watched the video. First of all, you sent me a 2.5 hour video.
I sent you a game. I sent you a whole game. I thought you might get invested.
Way to kill all my data on my phone, bro. Thank you for that. So
who's supposed to pay for like data though, man? I got unlimited.
Yeah. You know what I mean. But anyway, so I'm like, or storage space is what I meant to say.
Whatever. I got
so I'm watching it, and essentially what it is.
I just wanted you to be a fan, though. I just wanted you to be a fan.
So let me explain what I watched. Stop interrupting me, Jonny the Interrupter. Picture hockey, except picture it on a football field-sized rink. Okay, so it's gigantic. And instead of a little hockey net, it's like probably split the difference between a soccer net or Swedish football and an American hockey net. So like split the difference. It's a big net. And they're skating around, and it's like enormous, the size of the rink. And they're not hitting it like a golf ball. They're playing essentially street hockey with a ball, but it's on ice. Whenever they shoot, their technique with shooting, their hands were down towards the butt of the stick, the bandy stick, I guess they call it. And I guess you could say they kind of swing it like a golf club, but it's more like hockey with like a little bit different technique. And also they don't hit each other. So it's like, I could probably be a bandy star.
The way this is how it was described.
I want to say that one more time, and I want anyone to call my bluff. I could be a bandy star.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Do you
go
know
ahead.
how to ice skate? Can you ice skate?
Very good.
Oh, me too.
I played hockey when I was younger.
Me too.
And then my brother made fun. I played hockey when I was younger, and I was good at it. And then my brother made fun of me for not playing football, so I switched to football. Should have stuck with hockey, man.
Yeah, you're short, small. You would have been fast. You'd be a little feisty bitch. I mean,
Dude,
you know what though?
Don't talk to me like that.
Listen,
I'm short and small.
But this is the problem.
No. We got to back up to that. I can't get past that speed bump. I'm short and small. Bro, explain.
Well, what I meant by that is they're big right? You could squeeze around them because you're fast. You skate around the bigger players. They can't hit you. It's like fucking Darren Sproles.
You're talking.
Right?
You're talking bandy.
He was 5. No, well, bandy. No, you said hockey. You said into hockey, and you said you should have switched hockey, and I'm saying hockey. Back to bandy. Yeah, I mean short, small. I mean they're the same thing. What's so offensive?
They don't hit in bandy, so I'd be just like another guy.
But you said you should have stuck with hockey, so I was referring to hockey. Yeah, you should have. You were short and small, but fast, which means you would have been a scorer. You would have been getting around the guys, and then the big guys would beat up other people for you. The problem I find with you playing hockey is this. You prefer to roll around with half-naked men. They're wearing too much clothes and equipment for your liking.
Okay, so if nobody's listened before, what Jonny keeps referencing to is that I like to do, what would you call it, Jonny? Self-defense training classes.
Don't they call it mixed martial arts?
Mixed martial arts stuff. Yeah, that's what I do. So
Basically, if I was in the same room, he could kick the shit out of me in 30 seconds or less, really painfully.
I don't want to do that. I want to go play bandy.
Well, let's get back. Let me tell you how bandy was described to me, and this is what made me. So Martin described this to me, and I instantly said to Martin, Ryan and I have to talk about this on the podcast. So I
enjoyed what you sent me. I enjoyed watching. I didn't. I for sure didn't watch 2.5 hours. I didn't watch 2.5 hours of it.
Now,
but I turned it on.
Now. I'm done for the day. You just told me you didn't watch the whole fucking game.
You just called me short and small. So I watched. I turned it, and I immediately, without even reading it, I went, "Oh, this is Swedish."
Yeah. Well, yeah. I told you it was a Swedish game. So this is how it came to be. This is how I wanted to tell Ryan. Martin's telling me, I go, so how was this festival you worked this weekend? He was production manager or whatever at this festival. And it was in this arena. He said, I go, oh, arena. It must have been really big. He goes, it was a bandy rink. I go, what the heck is bandy? He goes, well, it's basically hockey, but the rink's bigger. They don't use a puck. They use a ball. And they don't shoot the puck. They swing it like a golf club. And I was like, oh, I got to tell Ryan Harris about this.
So exactly how I explained it.
Well, yeah, but yeah. But the way he explained it was the short and down, like kind of short, small, down.
Well, I mean, Martin is always more factual source of information than myself.
Yeah.
Or you, for sure, for you, too. Hi, Martin. Miss you, buddy.
So, Ryan, one of my funniest things is, let me give you an example of this when I explain it. One of my funniest things is when you have bands that sound really happy, but yet either are dark people or have a dark undertone. For example, Third Eye Blind, for years I had no idea that song, I had no idea that song was about crystal meth. No idea. Yep. It just seemed like a happy-go-lucky song you'd want to listen to in the summertime. What's even more funnier than that is when you have a band that seems like they're the happiest band in the world, and then they get on stage, and the guy's an asshole.
Well, so this girl has this TikTok video. I hope we're allowed to use it. I couldn't find the video anywhere
else. What band are we
guess
talking about?
Smash Mouth, buddy. Smash Mouth.
What was their song? What was that big song?
Somebody once told me.
Oh, yeah.
But so let's just watch this.
I just think the band's an asshole.
I have no words.
Smash Mouth.
At no point was the sound balanced.
Yikes, that's loud.
Unintelligible speech.
Drops his beer. Not even singing.
Wait. Let me ask something. Was somebody else in the band singing, or was he missing the track that he was supposed to be lip-syncing?
It was either a track or somebody else singing because he wasn't, for sure. But so, anyways, the whole point of this is that I was like, well, maybe there were some other bad performances, and then we found this one. And this one to me is
he did it again.
Well, this one's even funnier to me because he's not drunk this time. He's just angry. And this is what brought us to the point of it's funny whenever someone's super angry and then there's somebody once told me.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that before you go? When I was in the Knives, it was the opposite way around. We were kind of an angry band, right? And the singer did a lot of screaming. But then you would meet the singer and he'd be like, "Hey man, how you doing?
Hey man, what's up? Well, he's like a kick. Isn't he into kickboxing and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, he's a badass. He teaches it. And
he's not threatened by anything. He's not threatened. He's not like trying. He's got
a phoenix tattooed on his head. You know what I mean? He's the type of guy you're going to look at and you're going to be like, oh, my God, that guy's such a badass. He's probably the meanest guy ever. And then immediately he's like, yeah, what's up, man? How are you?
Yeah. Those are my favorite people. Those are my favorite people, dude.
We got to bring Levon on the show. That would be awesome. Yeah. I'm going to talk to Levon. That'd be a good one. He'd be a good one to bring on.
So let's go back to, in the best segue in the history of this podcast, let's go back to Smash Mouth.
I love it.
People are already throwing something.
Why they throwing stuff anyway?
I don't know.
Never understood that.
It's like it's some food festival thing. So they all have.
Piece of shit on fucking stage. I'm gonna come find your ass. I'm gonna beat your ass.
Tough guy.
You are out there, okay?
And two more things get thrown.
Come on, walk your ass up here. Come on.
How come all these rock stars get real tough when they're on stage? They get real tough because would he be that tough if it was just him and that dude in a fucking alleyway?
Maybe he would, but if you're on stage and someone throws something at you and you say, throw it again, I'm going to kick you're going to get it thrown back at you. Dude, you're in Smash Mouth. You should be knowing these things.
Wait, before you go any further, all you need to say is, dude, you're in Smash Mouth.
Dude, you're in Smash Mouth. Somebody once told me you guys are all super happy.
How do you say, if you meet them, you got to respect them because they've had a lot of success, but you meet them, you go, yeah, but you chose to join Smash Mouth. Wow.
You joined. Maybe that's what the band name means. He wants to smash you in the mouth for throwing food at him.
Oh, dude.
Threw it again.
You just figured it out.
I just figured out the Matrix. Oh, and he gets hit. And still threatening.
And they're playing that song. Listen to the background. Now, how weird is it to hear people booing over that song? It seems weird.
They're playing happy music. He's threatening people. They're booing and throwing stuff at him. Come on, someone throw one more thing. And they threw it. He's pointing. He's pointing at his glasses like I'm watching you.
Oh, he's going down.
He comes off the stage.
He's only coming off because he knows he's got 10 security guards there to back.
Yeah, he's got security. And he's got that backing band. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, they look tough.
Ding, ding. He's still daring people. Still testing people.
Didn't
still
he say
getting stuff thrown
threw
at him.
bread at him?
Yeah, it's like it's some food festival or something. I mean, without fail, every time he says, someone keep throwing stuff at me, you see one more thing.
Let me ask something, though, real quick, before you go any further. People throw shit, right? Now, it's annoying, and it's annoying. I don't understand why people do it. It's pretty disrespectful. But,
I'm not supporting it.
He's got to be smart enough to know that if I keep saying, stop throwing things at people, go like, throw shit, you know?
Exactly.
What
You're
a
in Smash
putz.
Mouth. Dude, be happy. Be happy.
You're getting paid today. You're working, doing what you love.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't love what he does. I don't know.
In front of a lot of people. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And now the security guard's trying to hold him back. Meanwhile, the band still playing. Somebody once told me.
Now, how's anybody in the crowd supposed to take that guy serious
Dude, how do
when
you-
he walks
how do
down
you
to
go
fight
from-
them? He comes down to fight them, and you're like, oh, dude, come on, really?
How do you go from being so angry to being like, somebody once told
You
me?
know, it goes back to what we were just talking about. It's a track.
Oh, dude, it has to be. It has to. Either that or he.
Has to be.
Oh my goodness, that's funny to me. Oh, it's funny to me.
The world wants to know about Smash Mouth, bro. I think. We have gone on a Smash Mouth rabbit hole.
Smash Mouth rabbit hole. Spontaneous
Okay,
Smash Mouth rabbit hole. A spontaneous Smash Mouth rabbit hole.
Okay, this is what I got for you. Smash Mouth singer Steve Harwell announces retirement due to health issues. The band. This article is from October 12th.
Okay, okay, so that first video of the TikTok chick. He's gone into rehab. He's gone into rehab.
Probably. Smash Mouth singer Steve Harwell
luck,
has
buddy.
officially announced his retirement from the band due to a string of health issues. Last week, a representative on behalf of the band shared that they found a substitution for Harwell for a handful of shows because he hadn't been feeling well, but that it wasn't going to be a permanent decision. According to TMZ, the singer was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy 8 years ago, which has also progressed into heart failure. In addition, he's developed Warnecki's encephalopathy. I'm sorry, everybody. Which is a acute neurological condition that affects the central nervous systems. The National Center for Biotechnology Info notes that it can develop as a result of thiamine deficiency, which is often associated with severe alcohol use. Did we not see him drop? Yeah. Harwell attempted to perform another show with Smash Mouth last night, October 11th in New York, but found his conditions to be too challenging to continue performing. Ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of being a rock star performing in front of sold-out arenas, and I've been so fortunate to live out that dream. To my bandmates, it's been an honor performing with you all these years, and I can't think of anyone else I would have rather done this journey with. To our loyal fans, thank you. To the guy who threw bread at me, I'll still kick your ass. All of this was possible because of you. I've tried hard to power through my physical and mental health issues and to play in front of you one last time, but I just wasn't able to, he continued. I cannot wait to see what Smash Mouth the companies, blah, blah, blah. So when was that video from?
All right, so let me. It was from a couple of days ago, and I'll close it with this. We were clowning on it earlier, and I'd like to close this segment with, I wish you health and good luck.
Yeah, but listen, man, hold on a second. If I'm the bad guy here, I'm the bad guy here. Yeah. He made his own condition worse because of severe alcoholism. And I say that because of those videos.
Do you know how much shit can be avoided if you don't drink?
Yeah, I mean, do you know how much shit could be avoided if you drank in moderation?
Yeah. Well, it's
when you abuse anything, if you did cocaine every now and again, you're not going to die from it. You do cocaine every day, you might die from it. Yeah. You're going to get an addiction.
Do pizza every day, you're going to have a heart attack.
Yeah. I might want to look into that. Got to worry about that.
All right, well, let me say it. I'm going to wrap it up better than I just did. I got way too serious. But, all right, I guess just say it this way. We were clowning on it earlier, and after hearing that, I wish him health and luck. And
I'm still clowning on it, bro. I wish
he's got a good sense of humor. He was like the dude that threw the bread at me and could still kick your ass. It's like, I'm still smashing the mouth.
Well, that's the thing is he didn't. I added that to the thing. That was my line.
Oh, you asshole! I thought that was genuine. Okay, well then, good luck, Steve. Good luck, buddy.
Okay, to the guy who threw the bread, I still want to kick your ass. That would have been awesome.
That would have been amazing if that was real. That wasn't real.
No, I totally just added that.
Johnny's rewriting history.
Well, we won't go there. Check it out. I hope he gets better, and I think he's doing the responsible thing for himself. But what ultimately probably just happened there was he saw what happened the last few days. His bandmates were probably like, dude, you cannot be doing this.
Can't keep doing this, right?
And then it came to the fact that your fucking shit's You drink a lot. We all drink a lot, but because you have this condition, and who knows if they all drink a lot, but I mean, and who knows if that's the reason, but he dropped the beer on stage. He was obviously intoxicated in the one video. So, I wish him the best health, but when it comes down to it, man, be responsible, bro. And he's being responsible. So good for him.
I like that. I like that.
So Ryan,
Yo.
what
was that? Yeah, what up?
what up?
What's up?
I got an email a couple of weeks back from a guy in England named Andy. And Andy asked me, what's Ryan's deal?
Friend of the podcast or friend of Johnny U?
Well, it's funny. You said it like in the very first podcast. You said, bring the podcast to the people. And and you just said that in the same kind of dictation. And I actually thought of the bring the podcast to the people yesterday, ironically enough.
I like it.
So
My words are catching on. I'm spreading like wildfire.
To me, anyways. So Andy hits me up and he goes, yo, man, I know so much about you. And he wanted to know more about Ryan Harris. So I thought to myself, why don't I interview Ryan Harris today?
Why don't I talk real slow? Why don't I talk real slow and insightful? My voice will go up a couple of octaves. I'll do it under protest.
Well, Ryan.
Because I don't like talking about myself.
I know you don't. And this is very awkward. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Harris, the only reason
I'm not
asked me to do
awkward.
that,
I just don't want to brag.
he don't talk about himself, which I can respect that. He's not an arrogant guy. And I can appreciate that he doesn't brag about his things. But I'll tell you something. I did not realize this whole time, we're in episode 22, 23, somewhere in there. We've been in a band together for 10 years. And I did not realize that I was in a band and had a podcast with somebody who had a top 100 Billboard hit. Why did you not ever tell me this?
I don't know, man.
Crickets.
Never got brought up. It's not the thing. It's not the thing that I wear. It's not the thing that I wear on my chain. Number 85 on my chain.
Well, but you.
Hey, dude, what's the 85? What's the 85 on your chain mean? Oh, well, I had a song and it made it the number 85.
No, it would have been cool if you were like high school football team number.
That would be more cool. Actually, that would make more sense than I had a song.
No, but you know
85.
what? You're wrong. I think having, because all those athletes, the pro athletes, get their number. That would be awesome if you did do that. Because if somebody told me, I'd be like, dude, what's with the 85? Were you born in 85? I'd be like, no, I had a Billboard hit on number 85. I'd be like, dude, that's fucking amazing. And it is fucking amazing. Let me give a little background here. Ryan Harris, before he was in Warner Drive with myself and the others, he was in a band called Cherry Monroe out of Pittsburgh. Now, there's a couple of interesting connections. Not only did Andy ask me about you, but if anybody remembers episode 1, Ian Gulcher, also
if you don't, go back and listen.
Also from the Birmingham, as he corrected me, area. When I was on tour, I ran into him. And he goes to me, hey, man, I was watching a podcast the other day. And he goes, is that a Cherry Monroe album behind Ryan? And I said, yeah. Why? He goes, because I have that album. And I said to myself, and then I said to him, why would you have a Cherry Monroe album?
Offended.
And he, but dude, it's not like you guys were touring over in the United Kingdom and stuff.
Just kidding. No, it's cool.
He bought it randomly because of the cover.
Yeah.
So I thought, and he recognized the cover in the background. And then when he went and he looked,
love that stuff. Though. That's so cool.
I think what he actually said to me was, and I think this is why it really threw me for a curveball. He goes, I didn't know Ryan was in Cherry Monroe. I think is exactly what he said to me. And then I said, how do you know Cherry Monroe? And then he told me that he had the album. He recognized the album. And what a small world. And then he happened to be the very first guest on our podcast.
The first guest on our podcast. That small world stuff is
who
fun.
I randomly met at a festival backstage.
We're worldly,
England,
baby.
Yeah, in England while he was there with a Swedish band. So, I mean, pretty cool stuff. So, Ryan.
Shake my hand, man. We're worldly.
Yeah. No, worldly.
Anyways,
okay, so
on with your questioning.
Why don't you give me a quick history of Cherry Monroe for the people? I know about it, but I want the people to know and give me, you don't have to make it like, don't cut out details. Just, don't make it the longest story and let the people know.
All right. So quick history. Bands tend to build towards something. You start a cover band level or whatever and build up. And if you're an original band, you put your own stuff together and blah, 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 all that stuff. We did that. So I started out with a cover band that very, very quickly realized we want to be an original band.
Was it all the people that were in the band Cherry Monroe?
So it's 3. There was a 4-person band and 3 of us went on. Did that for about a year. 3 of us found, long story. I'm cutting out a lot of details just to make it, like you said, give me a quick history. Long story short, we bring in a new singer. Start writing with a new singer. And played maybe a hand. It's still a friend. It's just he wanted to do different type of music than we wanted to do, and that's all good, So we find a new singer, play a couple of shows, realize we want to get a second guitar player. So we ended up being a 5-piece. Decided on the band name Cherry Monroe.
How'd you come up? That's a great name. The very first time you ever told me that, I thought it was a great name. How did you come up with that name?
We had this piece of paper on the wall with like a Sharpie, and anytime anyone had an idea, they'd write it down, blah, blah, blah. And then, long story short, somebody wrote down Cherry Valance from the book Outsiders, which we liked, and we were going to go with that. And didn't really know if we could use that because it's sort of like a character name, Let me sum this up real quick for you. We took Cherry Valance from the book The Outsiders. We took Marilyn Monroe, and we mixed the 2 names.
What made you put Marilyn Monroe up there?
I have no idea. It's a
I love
famous
details,
celebrity.
Man. I'm a man of details.
I know you are, and I'm telling you, it was a famous celebrity that we mixed with the name of Cherry Valance from the book The Outsiders, and it came out Cherry Monroe. And the first time somebody said, "What about Cherry Monroe?" Everybody in the room went, "Man, that's kind of cool."
It is.
And if anybody's ever been in a band trying to come up with a band name, you know that whenever 5 people go, "Oh, yeah, it's kind of cool," it's like, that's probably going to be it because. Really,
and nobody really wants to go on any further looking for one.
Right.
Let's just fucking find one.
So we had a name. We had a handful of songs. We put an independent album out. That album came out and to pretty good reception, which got us a showcase. We ended up showcasing for Columbia, Sony Red, Universal, and Island Def Jam, and ended up going with Universal Records. So we re-recorded our independent album and added, I think, 2 new songs onto that album, and that came out.
Was it identical?
Universal Records.
Were the albums identical?
There was a handful of songs from our independent that made it onto the Universal album, and then, like I said, we added a couple new ones that weren't on the independent. In hindsight, we probably should have just re-released the independent, but we didn't.
So,
that's it up to signing with Universal Records, and then we toured for probably 2 years.
So what was the single, and how did it get to 85?
We had a single called Satellites, which was honestly the first song that we all wrote together. First time we rehearsed, we started jamming, started writing, working on a song, and it ended up being that one. And just by luck of the draw, that was the one that was the single, and that was the one that made it to 85. All the way up to 85.
How does a song make it to 85 on the Billboard chart?
There were some radio stations. I don't know how this stuff factually works. At the time, it was Clear Channel. Like iHeartRadio now back then was Clear Channel. We were getting some play on that. But then there were some independent stations. One was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. One was in Terre Haute, Indiana. And those 2 particularly stand out because they really liked the song and they played it a lot. It was like the annoying song that you're hearing like once an hour in those 2 cities. So that definitely contributed. We had a Cherry Monroe Day in Terre Haute, Indiana. I mentioned that, I think, before, but it's just like they were playing it so much that, that's...
Well, that's my question. So let's go to Green Bay, because you got the key of the city in Terre Haute. In Green Bay, where they played it all the time, did you guys play Green Bay prior to them playing it all the time? Second part of that question would be, if you did play there beforehand, and let's say you didn't play there, I guess you can answer the same way. Was there?
I already have an answer for you.
Was after they started playing the songs all the time? Did you see a difference in the turnouts to your shows there?
I was never in the state of Wisconsin in my life. We went to Green Bay, played the Madison Theater for 1,200 people. That was my first experience of. We played all over Wisconsin. Played a city called Wausau. It was the same thing. Never been there before. I played their theater. It's like, I mean, that's kind of cool. Like it just shows you like the whole exponential element of things. Like, because we weren't a band for very long, but where we did play, like our hometowns, you know, we started out at the 50-person bar, and then you go up to the 100-person club, and you just like kind of inch your way along. But then to go to a city for the first time ever, and like people have your T-shirt on with your name written on it, and you're playing a theater, that was pretty cool.
That dude, Ryan Harris at number 85 on
Did I do a good job of explaining that? I don't know. Let me recap. It was a hot flame and it burned out fast.
Bruh. You know what,
Cheers.
though? Cheers. You did tell me once. I remember you telling me once, and this is something that I don't know if people realize. And that is, it was a hot flame that burned out fast. Kind of a bummer. Who knows where it could have gone. However, you still achieved something that is harder to achieve than signing an NBA, National Basketball Association contract.
I really hope that's true, because that's what they told us. They said a person born in the United States has a better chance of signing an NBA contract than a major record deal. I hope that's true, because I like that stat.
I remember when I was in music school, they broke this down for me in my music business class. And this was like early 2000s, so major labels definitely were different then. Bottom line is this. A major label would sign 300 bands a year. Out of those 300 bands, 100 would make a record. Out of the 100 that made a record, 10 would get those records released. Out of the 10 that got that released, 1 would pay for all 300 bands. So out of the 300 bands signed, 200 never even make the record. 100 make the record, only 10 of them come out, and 1 of them pays for all 300 signings for the year. So
Okay, so of that scenario, of the 300 bands, we made it to the top 10 because we were able to get our album recorded, released,
Right,
all that.
yep,
But we
right in
weren't
the heart of
we
that
weren't
time.
the band. We weren't the band paying for a whole lot of anything. And ironically, the reason that we ended up getting dropped was because Universal got sued for paying off radios. Universal got sued for paying off radio stations, like the payola thing, like pay to play. The irony of that is that we weren't the ones benefiting from them paying to play. It was obviously the bigger artists they had at the time. They had, Prince, I think Rihanna. I don't know. They had like giant artists.
you know what's interesting, Ryan Harris, not to go off on a little tangent here, but you guys basically got dropped after your first album, and it did well. You had a top 100 Billboard hit, okay?
Right.
That was in the 2000s. In the 80s, the music business changed.
Is that considered doing well though? Like genuine? I don't know. Like is that considered doing well?
I would think that if I was the manager of your band, that would be my selling point to the label. Of like, why are you going to drop a band that you put no money behind and they hit 85 on the top 100?
That's a whole nother
Well,
story.
we won't go down that. We had a nice
manager.
Yeah, we had a nice happy talk here. We're not going dark with that, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just say this. That guy was an asshole. With that being said,
We had a nightmare of a manager. That led to the...
with that being said, you guys got dropped after the first album. You had a top 100 hit. You know how hard that is in itself? That in itself is like probably making the All-Star game in the fucking NBA. With that being said, makes no sense you got dropped. Back in the 70s, before the 80s and the corporations bought the record labels were actually run by music fans. Now, granted, they really ripped the shit off of these people back then. But bands like Rush, bands like Pink Floyd, Tom Petty's another one.
they developed them. They developed the bands.
Bands that were able to get to their third or fourth album before they had success. You can't do that now. If you don't come out of the gate, it doesn't matter you had a top 100 hit. You did not sell 1 million units. You did not sell 500,000 units. You're out. And that is a terrible way to run a business. It's like movies are the same way. I've been watching this show on Netflix. It's called Squid Games, I think is the name of it called. It's a Korean show. It's amazing. I watched the whole season in one night. And I'm thinking to myself the whole time, nobody in America would make this because they don't have the balls to put their job on the line for something that's artistically great. Just like just like an A&R guy, who is the guy who signs bands to labels, is scared. He might think the band's the best band in the world that has this whole new sound. He's not going to put his neck on the line because if
It's
that
funny you
band
say
doesn't
that.
sell he'll get fired.
It's funny you say that because, like, you have this arc. Like, we had a rise, and then obviously you lose your momentum. Things start to go down. And in that process, like, trying to regroup and trying to be like, okay, what's next for us and everything, we're sending songs. And some of those songs are really good songs. I still have them. Some of them, in my mind, were better than what they signed us for, It's like sending songs. And they don't like any of these. Like, what the heck? It's like,
Would they write back, we don't like it? Like, what was the response back? How would they put
it? Was just like, there was just no excitement about it. And it's like, okay, well, eventually we got the point. You signed us for the song that made it to 85, and that's as far as it went. And that's our relationship. That's okay. But like you're saying, if they had the intention of developing the band, you have a young, like,
why not bring in a
ambitious
producer to write the
band
songs with you?
Well, I mean, all that happened. It's just like, and there were some good songs. It's like to draw back to your point of if you're developing a band for the long haul, we were touring, we had shows, we were writing, we had new songs. It's like, what else do you want from a band that you signed? Like, maybe you have high expectations for someone you didn't sign, but for someone that you did sign, doing all the steps like that, it's like, we did what we could. Okay, got it.
Why do you think it is the band getting dropped, I'm assuming, kind of put the end of the band? Why not continue on at that point?
Oh, well, I mean, I never would have quit. I'd still be in it to this day. That's just my mentality. But I do know that my mindset back at that time was like, I didn't have a concept of an album cycle. I didn't have a concept of like, here's what you do next. It was just like, oh, this has to happen. Like, originally, our Universal album was supposed to come out in April. It ended up coming out in September, which is not that big of a pushback. And I just remember in April going like, well, we can't wait that long. It's just, that was my mindset. That was my incorrect mindset. It's just like, I didn't understand the concept of time.
Well, you didn't understand the music business is one sentence tied up into one, and that is hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. Yeah, I didn't get that concept.
So let me ask you this to make this a nice segue into our questions, because I love questions. How's it make you feel to know that like some random guy like Ian, who like seriously 3 years ago wasn't in either one of our lives, bought your album years and years ago? Other people in the world know your band in places you never went. So how's that make you feel?
Well, that one's cool because we never went overseas. So he's in England and he has an album, and I would love for that band to go overseas, but we never did. So
was there any talks of going over there?
Not that I remember, but I mean, like the point is that like if we would just kept at it, that would have happened eventually. It makes me proud. I mean, it was like it worked up to that point.
Absolutely, dude, and you should be proud. That's a huge accomplishment. Okay, man. Well, I am going to play our game today with our guest Ryan Harris.
I'm the guest, dude. Don't you dare call me a guest.
Well, you're a ghost. That would be guest and host together.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, dude.
You're a ghost.
I like that word.
Yeah.
The word, man.
Question number 1: Cherry Monroe versus Warner Drive. Go.
What in what context?
Okay, so the guy who came up with the game is sitting here questioning the rules of the game. What part of Go don't you understand? Okay, Cherry Monroe versus Warner Drive. Go.
Cherry Monroe was my favorite thing that I've done because I was part of creating that, and I built it to a level. We built it to a level that I'm proud of. That's cool. Whatever. Warner Drive, I've had some of the most fun experiences of my life with, and I wish that, I'm being totally political, I wish that the personalities of Warner Drive were in the band Cherry Monroe, and I think that band would still be together if that were the case. Hey, Johnny, are you going to be able to look me in the eyes now, given my past, call it successes?
I don't think so, man.
Yeah. You know too much now.
Dude, you got a top 100 hit. That's a tough one. So the answer to that is no.
Makes me a little taller, huh?
Yeah, puffing out, peacocking a little bit.
Johnny, if we ever revamped that band, I'd have to make some phone calls, you know. But
Yeah,
if we
of
ever
course.
revamped that band and we ever needed a backup drummer,
Backup drummer.
no, backup drummer, we ever needed a number two, you know,
Would I be
second
behind
string.
the curtain?
Second, yeah, no, you'd be behind the curtain. And if ever the chance happened that we needed you to step in, what's your day rate, bud?
For you, because you're my buddy, I do it $17.50 a day.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty low.
Top 100 hit, bro. Top 100 hit.
That means nothing.
I don't know how. I
All
pay my
right.
rent.
Hey, $17 a day. $17 a day. You can come with us.
I'd be moving into your house.
It's fine.
So.
It's all good. $17 a day. We have a drum tech and a backup drummer. I like it. Dude, I just you.
Playing behind the curtain.
Yeah. Oh, play. You think you're playing back there? You're playing with yourself behind the curtain. You're not playing drums.
Hey, dude, that's all right as long as my phone gets reception. So, if you could go back to those days in Cherry Monroe and change anything about the way you looked, how you looked, Ryan Harris looked, what you were wearing exactly, what would you change? You know, maybe take the guy liner away or, hold on, white pants. I dug those white pants. But if you were going to change anything, or maybe not, what would it be? Go.
Nothing.
All right. Can I confess?
Dude, you're either with me or you're against me. In either way, that's awesome.
Well, that's not that. Hold on.
What was that noise and what exactly did it mean?
I turned into Bitterball and all of a sudden.
I don't know my words.
So you're with you or against you, either way is fine.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking to somebody that is with you and against you at the same time.
That's fine.
So what would that be? If you're a guest and a host and that equals a ghost, what does that make me?
It means there's people in my life that I'm like, yeah, come on in, you know, put my arm around you. And then there's people in my life that I'm like, boop.
If I dared you to wear a guy liner on one of the episodes, would you?
Yeah. You know what my answer would be? Boop.
Okay. Well, that's all.
Here's
that's
the
all
thing.
I
Here's the
wanted to
thing. Here's the. You know what? I feel like my answer didn't totally satisfy you. So let me satisfy you with a follow-up answer. Was I proud of everything that I wore in that band? No.
know. What weren't you proud of?
I mean, there's a picture of me wearing a Wonder Woman shirt that I would probably change if I could today.
I would think that was the coolest thing you were wearing out all that.
Okay, well then this is beside the point. I guess to sum it up was we were doing our own individual unique thing, or at least that we thought we were, and that's cool to me. That's more interesting to me than somebody just being like, I'm going to put this shirt and pants on.
In fairness, I do want to make this really clear. I might be busting Ryan's balls today about this, but reality is, if you go back to that time, sonically and visually, it was perfect for that time. I really did dig the all white stuff. I think that's great. I love when bands like do stuff. I love when, like, the Hives. One of my favorite things about the Hives is they come out in all suits. Granted, they don't wear guy liner. That's the thing.
Can I end this with the final question?
Please do. What do you
Final
got?
question of the day,
I'm
Johnny.
sitting up in my chair for this.
Johnny. Okay, so if you could be me for one day, bro, what would you do? You want me to ask you again? Because I'll gladly ask you again. If you could be me for one day, what would you do, bro?
Huh.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. That's the best you could do. That's
What
the
did you
best
think
you
I was
could
gonna
do.
say? Well, how else
Anything.
would I be setting myself
Anything.
up?
Johnny, absolutely anything. You could say, I want to go to a place that you have been to that I've never been to. I want to see what it's like to, I don't know, be a real man. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, wow.
this was a weird podcast.
It's a great one. My favorite podcast we've
mind
ever
it.
done. Right here. I loved it.
We didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
once
you could-
acknowledge, hey, you know what? You know how you know that we're professionals? We didn't even once acknowledge the fact that we had a guest today that canceled yesterday. And
I hope he's feeling better, by the way. He was sick.
I do too. No, I'm not talking any bad. If I wanted to talk bad,
Well, your tone sounded a little,
well, now I was doing that more so about the fact that like we were presented with a situation, we've handled it like pros, buddy.
Jury's out. We're going to find out next week when people let us know. Hey, listen, thank you for checking out the What Everybody podcast this week. We really, truly did have a good time. I hope Ryan sticks with the coffee. It's a good move. With that being said, make sure you subscribe where you subscribe and listen to podcasts. Make sure you watch on the YouTube so you can see this nice nose that I got and Ryan's wonderful hairdo. And leave us a comment if you can. Until next time, thanks again for joining us on What Everybody Wednesday. We love you here at the What Everybody podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks. See you next time.